Alright everybody, back with part 3 of this revision B board set. I got it back on the bench from the cabinet where it was basically resetting or crashing or something. That I don't know what that is. I did notice that in the previous video a couple times on the bench, and that's why I was doing most of the video board testing with a different CPU board, thinking that it was like something flaky with my bench setup. But obviously my bench setup is probably fine and we got something going on with the CPU board. Part of me suspects R989 just because I put in 100 ohm there, and I think there was 1,000 ohm in there before, but it calls for 100 ohm in the schematic. No idea. Or some of the sockets that I mentioned could be bad. Also, I didn't test these ROMs, so I'm going to do the simple things first here in this video, and then on the video board we actually I replaced these two RAM here at 10F and 9F, but we still have lines going on. So let's power up, see what we get. So it looks like it boots. One thing I noticed is it doesn't have, when it boots, it doesn't have that color aspect to it. And now we have the lines going through our car and stuff like that. And the other tell that I didn't notice before, you can see the lines and the signs and stuff, is when we coin up, I didn't notice this until I put it in the game. Our prepare to qualify thing was jacked up. Boom. We just reset. It's almost like it can't, there's some code. Oh, it reset again. I didn't even do anything. That now it's just in a stuck state. So that's the symptom. I don't know exactly what's going on. It's kind of like it's just locked up right now. And I mean, it boots, but then maybe it's having trouble getting to this RAM over here or something consistently. That's why I was suspecting that this. I don't know. But then we put it in the cabinet and did the same thing. So it's probably not this edge connector. Alright, I gotta put my thinking cap on. I'm just letting the board kind of run and resetting it, and I just got that RAM 6 error. I've gotten it a few times. I have replaced this 3F just in case, because that was one of the ones I had a question mark on for the legs. But that's, I mean, it's just going, it's resetting. Part of me is wondering if these 74 HCTs 163s are not fast enough, like if I actually do need an S. But I have it in both boards, which could be part of the problem. Unfortunately, I don't have a faster chip I have to order some. So we just got a RAM 0. It's just freaking out. So there's something going on, obviously, on this board. I'm just going to swap chips and see if if I can determine whether it's specific to a chip or not. Obviously, I'm not even troubleshooting. I'm just like shotgunning stuff, but at least if I can rule out all those chips, or maybe I'll put all those chips in my working board. That's what I should do. Okay, actually. This is my working RevC board, CPU board, and I swapped all the chips minus, I think, this one, 3F. I took it out. I want to work on that leg that's right there, which is actually pretty bad off, but there's enough there to kind of solder onto, but I wanted to put it in a machine socket anyway. Cool. Let's power on. I've replaced all the chips. The only thing is these 2148s. This, obviously this PAL at 7C, these are to this board, so I can't swap that. This PAL as well. Power on. Alright, there. See, we got a little weird colors, which is what I typically see. So we'll just let this run. I still have, line issues, graphic issues. But if this doesn't reset, I don't think it's a LS163 thing, because the video board is also an LS163, and if that was the timing thing, it would probably crash. It appears this board is working, so that means all these chips are probably fine because it's not crashing right now. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit and see if it crashes, but that means that the chips are fine. The problem is on the other board. Could be the other board's, you know, 7C, could be there, it's RAM, the working RAM right here at 7J, 7K is flaking out. I don't know. Could be sockets. But it doesn't look like it's the chips, which is nice to just rule out a whole bunch of things all at once. Yeah, it seems pretty steady. The bad news is it means it's something else on the board. So, all right, I'm gonna let this run and then I'll come back. All these chips appear to be good. I went ahead and put check marks on it, and I fixed 3F. I put it into a machine socket and soldered the legs a little bit better, so it's going to be permanently in that machine socket. So that works. I still need to mess with 9M, but on to putting the non-working board back. So all these chips work fine. All right, this is still my working board, but I wanted to show something. When I hit the reset, this is my working CPU board, and I have no idea if this is anything. I just want to record it. The scrambled picture. Oh, you see, at that time it didn't have colors either. That's weird. Like I'm just, again, I have no idea if this actually means anything. See how it has colors now? But I wonder if that's, I don't know why that is. Is that because of something that was already in the video RAM or something? And it just really has to do with when it actually resets and what was in the video RAM last. See, it has colors there. That's probably nothing. I thought maybe that was a symptom of something, but probably not. Like if I hit reset and then reset again. Yeah, see, it was all blue because when I hit reset twice, and it stayed all blue with versus having colors in it. Look, I can repeat it. See how it's all blue again? Because I hit the reset twice. But now that it has colors and I hit reset, it'll have colors on that little scrambled screen. There it goes. So, yeah, it must be what's actually last in some of the video RAM or something like that. All right, that was nothing. All right, I have the non-working board back in, and it's struggling like usual. But I've never seen RAM E before. That's kind of interesting. I'm just resetting it. Let's see if it boots. It's definitely struggling. I have to hit test. Okay, sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't. Interesting. I mean, the lines is something going on the video board, but I don't know why it's struggling. Is it in the reset? I'm going to have to break out the schematic here and start thinking about what I want to do. All right, I'm looking at the Watchdog circuit, I believe. Watchdog reset? I think that's right. WDR? I don't know. I think that's what that means. But anyway, this 6A, which is down by the battery area, is responsible for that, and the ripple carry out. And in one of my previous videos, we didn't have the ripple carry out. This line was broken and was kind of causing problems and stuff. I don't really exactly know for sure if this is this is what's calling the reset. So it has to be the Watchdog. WDR has to be Watchdog, I would think. And I never have good luck with using my comparator on these counters, the 161s and stuff, but it does read bad. And if I take it off and let's see here, look at it with a probe. Let's check pin 11, That's pin 11. And these outputs aren't actually tied to anything, it's just the ripple carryout that's being used. But that kind of looks a little weird, honestly. That's pin 12, and then pin 13 is just high. And pin 14 as well. No, 14 is kind of like floating, it's like in the middle. So that looks weird enough where I'm going to put a working board on and just verify what it looks like. But it's pretty suspect. Board with a known good 161 because it's socketed, and yep, logic comparator is telling me the truth, I think. Let's go ahead and probe it. Very interesting that pins, it's not 9, 10, 11. That's just low. 11 is low. 12. 13. 14 is high. So totally different behavior than what we were seeing before. And let's look at pin 15. Yeah, our ripple carryout doesn't even seem to be doing anything on this board, and maybe that's the normal behavior. The other one was going nuts. I'm going to hook up a logic I need a probe. Digital scope. Check this out, and also the logic probe always is kind of beneficial. This is pin 14. See? Oh, why am I showing that? Pin 14. Alright, so that's 11, 12, 13, 14 is chirping. But remember, when I looked at it here, it just looked like it was high. And pin 15 is low. That's on a working board. Let's look at pin 14 here. Now I adjust my seconds per division and you can actually see that, yeah, it's chirping. So that's what a working one I think should, or at least this board is working. So I'm going to put my bad board back on, and I think we have a bad 6A LS161. This is the problem board. Yeah, see that's pin 11, 12, 13 is just high. 15 is going nuts, which is actually could trigger the watchdog. I don't know why it's not watchdogging more. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But let me replace that, and I think that might help our resetting issue. All right, I replaced that 161 with an HCT because instead of a LS, that's all I had. But it does look like the comparator says it's good. So that's, obviously I hope that's a good news because it's brand new. But if I look at pin 15, which is the ripple carryout, it is chirping a little bit, and I don't think it should be. And if I look at pin 14, might be easier with the logic probe. Okay, there's pin 14, so it's moving, it's toggling. Let me get my logic probe. Something, I wonder if 128, pin 2 is the clock. Yeah, 60.6. Oh, look, game just reset. Okay, I think I found my problem. There's really not much to this LS161, but it's all by that battery, where battery damage, the alkaline damage is. Pin 9 is your load, that's pulled high with R230. Then you got 7 and 10, I forget what those stand for, ET and EP, those are pulled high. Then you have your clear, I think that's what C is. Pin 1 goes to this R97, and then you have 128V, which we saw was 60 Hertz, which is 128V. And that's right. And then these don't really do anything. I mean, but they should have activity, but they don't go anywhere on the board, as far as I can tell. So power on. Okay, we got it. We'll come to pin 1. There's our pin 2. There's our clock. Pin 1 is floating. There's nothing connected to it, and that needs to go to this R27 right here, and you can see that is chirping, so that means that this should be chirping, but it's not doing anything. And that comes to right here, and then it goes to right here, which is broken, because that comes over to this spot right here, the WDR, which is right there. So I have a broken trace just barely right there, right underneath the battery. Let me fix that. Quick little jumper right there. Let's turn it on. Whoops. Got everything running. Sorry about that. Dropped something. Okay, so let's see what our Watchdog should be doing. Should it be barking? 1 is chirping. 2 is chirping. Is 15? No. Alright, so WDR, Watchdog Reset maybe? I don't know. But that's pin 1. Pin 1 and this test point are the same. Then pin 2 is your 128V. And then ripple carryout is what actually I think triggers the reset, and it's low. Yeah, 14 was making noise on my other one, but all the rest of them were low. Then 14. I think that was our problem. I can't remember. I have to go back and watch the video if the other one behaved the same way. Let me see here. This is what we're looking at right there. The ripple carryout is pin 15. Oh, okay, yeah, it's low, and then it gets inverted to high, and then it comes into this reset thing. So I guess that's right. I can't remember on the other board if it was high or low. Can't remember. This one is pin 15 low. It was chirping before, which is obviously not good. All right, I think that fixed that issue. I'll come back if it didn't. We got to get on to our graphics issue. All right, our Watchdog is working, but the board still periodically resets, which is weird. So that's and no matter what, pin 15 is low. I mean, I shouldn't say no matter what, but I haven't heard 15 chirp at all, which would be probably what was needed to actually issue the reset. So I wonder if this 4584B, because it's not resetting. Like if it does something like that, shouldn't it reset? I mean, I don't think it's resetting. It was pin 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is high. Yeah. See, the reset pin is not being triggered. And if it did, it would just boot back up again. I'll show real quick. We'll just ground the reset pin real quick. Just tap it. Then it resets. And the game runs again. Like, it almost seems like the reset circuit still isn't working correctly. It could be this 8L, this 1458 something another. I don't know what that is. Because I would think that it should reset. And I don't know why something's happening in the game where it's flaking out. I had finally had a reason to use my Logic pulser. I'm coming to this 8L pin 13, and if I just press my Logic pulser, I should get it to reset. There we go. See? And if I press it again, see? I just reset it by pressing my Logic pulser. It's the first time I've had to use that thing. What if I do it on the ripple carryout, pin 15? No. Where does that go to? 15 comes to pin 9. That gets inverted to pin 8. No, I have to look at it. I have to test, maybe find out what that chip is right there. It seems to be working though, but I don't know for sure. But something else is causing the game to freeze and get hung up. This is pretty interesting. So I'm looking at this now because it's in a current state. Pin 15. Oh boy, wrong one. Wrong pin 15. Now at pin 15, the ripple carryout is chirping. That goes to 8L pin 9. Right here. That gets inverted to pin 8, which goes to the anode of CR4. And then I don't know, it's not registering a low. I can kind of hear it, but it's not getting all the way to the low. I'm wondering if this just isn't powerful enough or something, or that 1N914, because this thing should be resetting and it's not. Now granted, the damn game shouldn't be resetting at all, but it is. Something's jacked up. Oh, just reset. I was about to show something and now it just reset again. Kind of crazy. Is it good? Yeah, I just have it on black and white for my audio. So if I come to pin 15, and it's low right now, but if I double click it, my Logic pulser, I should be able to get this thing to reset. Was that just a coincidence? There we go. Nope, just froze. See what happened there. Yeah. See, it's barking like crazy right now. But why isn't it resetting? I mean, again, that has nothing to do with why the board is in that state, but I'm just wondering about this thing here. I don't know. This is a CMOS chip. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Duh. If I go to the reset pin, yeah, it should be resetting right now, but it's not. And you know, I've been watching the behavior of the system, and sometimes it'll boot up. It'll say like a RAM 6 or a ROM 0, or sometimes I had that issue with I couldn't work the sound or something. Let me get this thing to reset. Yeah, see, RAM 6. It says RAM 6. We'll reset it. There we go. And then it boots fine. And look, you see how it says now push start button? That's almost like some type of I/O issue. And I was telling you before, or in the video, that like at some point my service switch wouldn't record anything. And it's anyway, it makes me think it's this PAL, because the RAM chip select, the IO CNT or IO DB enable or something, as you can see there. Just something, and because it's in the battery area, just something is telling me that it's this PLA at 7C. I'm tempted just to socket it anyway. See, just reset again. Yeah, we're in hell right now, but I don't know. I'm just guessing because it's kind of hard to determine to see why it would be doing that. Shit, I have to cut that out. I don't know. I didn't know I was recording. But pin 13, which is what I'm on right now, which is annoying, is the enable for 7F. 7H is pin 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. 12. That's pin 12. It should always be buzzing. And I just have a feeling like I'm getting some weird behavior on this PAL chip, this PLA. Yep, see? You know what? Just reset. Now it's back to normal. That doesn't tell us anything. Pin 13 should always be going nuts. Pin 19 is the sound. Oop. Yeah, just reset again. I'm gonna replace that thing. All right, I socketed that 7C and put in the GAL that I have from my other board. We'll monitor it, see if it resets. I guess that's the best I can do. Okay, back at this reset circuit, and I was doing a little searching on KLOV, just thinking about the reset circuit or researching it, and somebody, I'll link to the thread, I think. Can't remember his name right now, but was mentioning this cap C9 often has low ESR, and that it needs to be a good cap for this reset to trigger, for it to be powerful enough to kind of bump the signal, I guess. I don't know if that fully makes sense to me, but I figured I would check the ESR real quick, just with my meter here, and it's around 3. It's a 10 microfarad cap, and I tested this one, and again, it's really ESR depends on a lot of things, you know, like the cap and stuff, but this one's like around 1.25 or something. Hard for me to test with one hand, so I'm going to replace that cap and see if that helps things. I'm just kind of curious about it, so Alright, I will try that. Actually, the board, as soon as I powered it up, it was tried to boot up and it wouldn't boot. And it's actually in reset. If I can find my probe. I gotta hook up my probe here. So you can see the current status of the board. And if we come down here, we look at pin 15 of 6A. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's resetting, and then I come to, let's see here, I come to the cathode. Actually, I misspoke. This is the cathode side. We got a good strong signal there, and then the other side of the diode, it's not triggering, it's not going across that switching diode. I wonder if that diode's bad. I can definitely replace that. I replaced the cap. But let's see what our signal looks like if I tie into ground right there. And we're just going to come to this side of the this will come to the cathode side. Right there. So it's pulsing. It's pulsing low. Yeah, that's good. And then on this side, see, it's not really, it's high but not going low. Yeah, it's not going across the low threshold. Why is that? Is that the diode, or is it the diode or CR4, or is it this 8L chip, which is a CMOS chip, and I ordered some just to see if that was it, because I'm not sure. All right, we should be resetting again. Pin 15. Oh, there, it just resetted. As you can see, all right. Now it's running, so I have to wait for it to go and reset. All right, there it went. It's resetting pin 15, or it should be trying to reset, as you can see, right? Then I come to pin 9 of this MC14584B, and you can see it gets all the way up to 5 volts. Then it should be inverted, and it doesn't get all the way down to 0 volts. And so I'm thinking that's the problem there. So it could be the diode, but I'm pretty sure it's this MC. So I cut one out, and maybe we'll piggyback it real quick, if I can. Up, and now it's resetting. Okay, will it reset again because it's frozen? There it goes. Okay, it's frozen again. Well, it looks like it is resetting. Let's monitor pin 8. It's not really a good visibility. Right, now we're getting consistent resetting, I think, pretty much. But if I went back and tightened up the legs and piggybacked it, so let's wait. Hopefully it resets here soon. There it goes. Let's watch. See how it went all the way down to plus 5 volt to negative 0, I mean, to 0 volts, and now it's resetting consistently. See that? Boom. Went all the way down to 0. I mean, I'm kind of like in this reset pattern here. There it went, all the way down. This is definitely our problem, 8L. I mean, that's the problem with it getting hung up and not resetting consistently. So I'm going to replace that. We have 8L in there now. Let's power on. And we're booting. And we're resetting now, and it, well, see, it's getting hung up, but it's going to reset every time now. It's not going to get stuck, probably. Well, looks like it's stuck. What the hell? Whoops. That's not good. Stuff falling over. It's stuck again. Look, it's stuck. And I know I'm moving the camera around. I'm working on getting another camera, actually. Pin 9. Oh, look, it's back to the old behavior. Not going all the way down for some reason. Why the hell is that? I thought it was the... I also had a HCT in at 6A, and I replaced that with an LS161 because I thought the HCT, maybe the output, amps wasn't strong enough or something to drive this circuit, I guess. What the hell? Why am I just getting stuck? Could it be CR4? Oh boy. Okay, I think I'm gonna move on because I think this circuit is working correctly. I replaced the CR4, same behavior. I have two different 14584Bs in there, and I think what's happening is the capacitor is definitely needed. I wish I understood this circuit better, but the capacitor is definitely needed. So if it's resetting like a whole bunch of times, maybe the capacitor doesn't have enough charge to actually help it over the threshold of the Zener or something like that. I don't know. Or to bump this signal here from 11 to 10, No, it was to 9 to 8. But when I piggyback it, it works, or you get the full drop down to 0 volts, because there's two of these CMOS chips in there, right there. So anyway, I'm pretty sure the reset circuit is working correctly. We fixed that, I think. I'm going to move on and let's put the FPGA CATBOX on this thing and test memory, because at this point I'm thinking it's these 2114s might be bad or something else. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck, so I might as well put the CATBOX on. I got my CATBOX hooked up, as you can see right there. Screen's powered on, and I'm looping. Actually, I guess I'll stop. Let's abort that. Clear results. We'll enable all of these. We'll hit start RAM test, and you see how everything shows that it's good. But the first time I went through, this one failed once. So let's go ahead and repeat this. We'll do random for our RAM test instead of going 0 zeros and FFs. We're going to just do random bits and stuff. Start RAM test. And we'll just see, I was getting some failures on 7K. Not all the time, but sporadic. So let's just see if we can get a failure here. Oh, see, it just failed somehow. I thought it might be just to, looks like I'm getting random failures. Why the hell is that? Interesting. I thought it might be 7K or 7L and 7K, but it could be going to the video board. If you guys can see that. Alright, let me investigate this a little bit. I'm doing some experimenting off camera, and I'm trying to think through this, right? Because it is completely random if I, which one fails. Really just run this, repeat it, run. So it's like all the data bit. Okay, well there I got just one data bit, 6. None of them are failing right at this second, so it's intermittent, which kind of sounds like, I don't know, it's got to be one of the addressing buffers or the data buffer going to the Z80, I would think. Now none of them are failing, of course. Alright. Oh! See, in the whole every single data bit, like everything was wrong, see? It wasn't just like one data bit, it's all of it. So that sounds like an enable, right? Okay, so I'm looking for clues, right? And so 7K will fail. And I think that's actually 7K and 7J, I think. 3E and 3F will fail. I don't know what 4000 to 43FF, and I don't know what two of these are going to. I think these are some other RAM. So there's 7K, 7J. I have to look to see which ones are what, I guess. It's testing 3E and 3F, but it's not testing 4E and 4F because I think these are addressed only by the Z8002s. And then there's other RAM on here, like these 2114s. There's 2114s and stuff going on. I don't know if it's addressing those or not. I don't know if there's other RAM on here, on this board. But it's never failing on 7E, if you see that. However, if I run on the ROM test and I loop on the ROM test, eventually I think I get a fail on this as well. Let's see. Not yet. So I'm just running. Check some on the ROMs, like going nuts. Okay, I'm not getting any failures here. I did initially. Which kind of leads me to believe the Z80 addresses the ROMs directly. Oh, see, I got a failure. See, and that doesn't make any sense. Can I stop the loop? See, I got 3 and 4 failures going to the ROMs. And there's nothing there except for the damn Z80 going to the ROMs. I mean, there's nothing on the data bus. There's no data buffers. There's no address buffers. This one never fails, but why does that one fail? I was just trying to think of what's common to some of this stuff. I mean, maybe the enable of 8H, which is driven by the PAL, but we replaced the PAL. How am I going to figure this shit out? Okay, back at this next morning, I thought about it, and I was like, it's got to be in this battery RAM area right here. So I was just looking at it. Hopefully you can see this okay, because I have it zoomed up. And you have the CMOS RAM chip select that comes into the base, I guess. Yeah, emitter. Is that the collector or whatever? Of this Q22904, and it comes to R87, and then that comes down output. So I was just probing around, and that is part of the select for, comes out of pin 14, RAM, CMOS RAM chip select 1, comes out of PAL, and it wasn't labeled there. So if I come out of pin 14, yep, you can see. 14 comes to this resistor, R87, which is great, but this part of this transistor does not come down to R92, which it should. Interesting. Oh no, this part of the resistor. This does come right there. This part of the transistor should come to R92. But you hear the beep, but it's only 50 something ohms, which is the problem. It's not connected. I missed a little trace in that area, and I think that's screwing up and letting the CMOS RAM like probably get enabled when it isn't supposed to or something, and therefore that's periodically causing some junk on the data bus when it shouldn't. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. We'll find out. I'm going to replace that and we'll see if we fixed our problem. Alright, everything seems to be working. It's nice and steady. Well, except for the graphics issue. But this video is like an hour long, so I'm not going to do the graphics. Come back and do another video. So it definitely ended up being, you know, this CMOS RAM chip select 1, the emitter was not tied to, not pointing in. Yeah. Yeah, the emitter was not, I believe that is right. I always get confused. Was not connected to R92, even though when I had pulled R92, and I might have even ohmed it out, but remember it was beeping, and I might not have looked to see if it was actually 0 ohms, because it really does look like underneath of there that it's connected to the through hole. But it just was not connected to the through hole. There was just enough corrosion that freaking I should have caught that early on, but I didn't. Yeah, some of these, like right there, I think it's okay, but I'm going to come back and double check. But everything's working, which is fine. Did not need to replace the PAL or the PLA at whatever that is. I can't remember now. But right there, I put the old one back in and it works fine. But it led us down a rabbit hole, but I ended up finding 6A that I needed to replace, because I wouldn't have even looked at that probably. So 6A needed to be replaced, but 8L probably did not need to be replaced. And I'm still not sure about C9. CR4 definitely didn't need to be replaced. I think it's a switching diode. I might have called it a Zener before. It's a switching diode. Yeah, so I think all of that's working correctly, and the game is nice and stable now. So we'll come back and do a video on this other part. Man, that I went down a whole damn wrong road on this thing, but hopefully you learn from the mistakes and the wrong paths I take, as well as the things that I did well, I guess. Maybe. That's it. Cheers, everybody.